And preparing for Micron, it continues to be a big talker here in our region. And today, company leaders and others gathered at OCC to speak about preparing the workforce for the chip industry. That's where Chilakasi Adeli joins us live. Chile, how far along is the college?
Well, guys, the consensus around here seems to be getting its feet wet. This was an interesting event because at times there was a lot of raw honesty here talking about the process. And basically what a lot of leaders said is that the groundwork has been laid, but there's still a lot more to go.
There's a huge demand for technicians, and we're looking to be that person, that educator for that field.
OCC certainly preparing for that today with officials from all different sorts of groups gathering here to talk about training the workforce for the next generation of chip makers.
It involves a lot of the same techniques that you would need for being a mechanic or anything like that. It's really a lot of fundamentals.
And the fundamentals are why it's not just an effort for OCC, but for many local school districts as well.
We are pretty new to semiconductors, so we don't have a lot of semiconductor-specific coursework, but we're working closely with a number of educators across the nation to integrate that in the future.
There are many four-year schools like SU taking part in this. OCC is advertising itself as a more affordable option.
Many of our students graduate with no debt or very little debt. And we have that opportunity here at OCC.
And OCC continues to talk with people from Western Idaho, people all over the country, as it tries to figure out next steps.
Spend a lot of time in the community talking with government as well as for-profit and nonprofit organizations.
A lot of those schools we talked about earlier in our 4 o'clock newscast here, West Genesee, which John mentioned that story about the golf course. There were representatives here as well. OCC and the SRC Arena continue to play a big part in all of this. Remember, the CHIPS and Science Act passed last year. A lot of that funding going into the chip plant in Clay. John Perrick, you were talking about West Genesee earlier. There were a lot of people here. And I think one of the most interesting things is that we're in the same place last year that President Biden was touting the CHIPS and Science Act here. So definitely OCC and SRC Arena continuing to play a big part in this. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio now. I'm Chilakasi Adeli, NCC News. Guys.